So I was trying to work out what to do this month. Spirit said a video about, I wasn't sure whether to use cards or to just channel, and I've been trying to figure it out, and then it just came to me like an epiphany, because this is something that I severely struggle with. To make a video about patience, about the benefits of being patient, about what you can gain from being patient, but also the difficulties of patience, because that is something, as I say, I severely struggle with. I have for a long time. And it's funny because in my life, I've been forced into situations, well, not forced, I've chosen to be in situations that required the most astounding amount of patience, of waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. But if I look back at how I handled that, that's something that's very, I don't know if I handled it well. I got through it, but I don't know if I handled it well. To be honest, as humans, I don't know how, you have to be completely and utterly detached to just be okay, waiting for this thing that you want, need, require, crave to manifest, right? You have to. That doesn't mean you don't do anything. It doesn't mean you law of attraction it like The Secret, where you close your eyes and say, I visualize I'm in a Range Rover, and then 3 months later one beams down from heaven like Mr. Bean and outside your house. You have to work towards it, but the patience to know that the payout, the reward, the result won't be there immediately is required. So, I mean, let's have a look at patience and what it actually means from a spiritual point of view to be patient, right? So what do we know patience as humans? Let's start there, right? So as humans with the ego mind, we know patience means that we have to wait. We want something, whatever it is, we have to wait. It's not ready yet. It's not going to be here yet. It's not going to come yet. We have to wait, right? That's what we know patience is. What does that make us feel like? Well, impatient, obviously, because every action has a reaction. Everything has a negative and a positive. So to know patience, you have to know impatience. So yeah, like you're waiting for something you really want, you're impatient. You want it right now, right? So that's the reaction, right? What does impatience mean to us? Like how does that manifest in our lives? Irritability, control. Oh my God, control the situation and you'll make it happen quicker. Control the situation and you'll get results. Continuous stalking on, spying on your situation, like progress analytics. It's like losing weight, and you want to lose weight and you get into this habit of like weighing yourself every single day. How much have I lost? How much have I lost today? How much have I lost today? Bearing in mind, it means absolutely nothing because there's water weight and how much your bones weigh, and you fluctuate all the time, and you might not have gone to the loo or you have gone to the loo. So actually that's completely irrelevant, but we become obsessed, don't we, about seeing that and monitoring it. Really like, oh my God, I must know. I have to see proof. I have to see proof that this patience, that I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be, 10 stone lighter. I need to have proof that that's happening, right? And that's what patience does. The shadow side of being patient is all the control, the fear, the doubt. Is it ever going to happen? The nervousness, the worry. Is this all for nothing? Am I investing time? And we know that time is the most valuable commodity, right? We never get it back. There's really no time to waste, right? We know that. We know that we haven't got time to be patient because life slips through your hands, right? It slips through your hands. So we don't have time to wait around. Who's got time to wait around? We need these results right now. That's what patience does. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, right? That's desire and that's passion. But where it can get very unhealthy is where we become obsessive about the result, which is in the future, right? And not living in the moment right now. right? What can we learn from patience, right? What can we learn from the concept of being patient? From a spiritual point of view, the obvious one, right, is divine timing. Divine timing is very real, right? Remember, right, we're going to go on a bit of a tangent, but I have a point. We are all connected we all connect like the Matrix, right? We are all connected to each other, to the earth, to the sun, the moon, the planets. There is no such thing as separation. Separation is an illusionary 3D reality belief, right? So it's the manifest of, the physical reality is the manifest of energy, right? So how can I put this? How you feel and how you think, right, becomes, right? Thoughts become things. That's because everything starts from inside you. And then it creates outside of you, right? It creates a physical representation of the thing that you felt inside of you, right? So let's say you're trying to, you want a result in something. Let's say you plant a seed in the garden for a flower, and the desire to plant a seed, right, means that you get the seed, right? It doesn't matter how it comes to you. You wanted it, so it came to you. You get the seed. You plant the seed, right? The desire to see it flower is where you have to be patient, right? Because we're all connected, right? Everything is connected. The way that the earth takes its time for that seed to grow roots, for it to shoot through the earth, for it to grow into a flower, is exactly the same creation process it takes for everything, right? Without exception. And your ego can resist that process no matter what. So if I'm trying to build a business and it's an idea, and then I have to find the seed to plant, and then I have to wait for it to grow, and you have to water the seed every day. You have to make sure it's getting sunlight. You have to take care of it, make sure that it doesn't get trodden on, or it's protected. Put a little cage around it so nothing can harm the budding flower that you're waiting for, right? Which is your business, right? But it has to happen in its own creative timing, as everything does on this earth. Life, death, birth, growth. You never look at a plant and say, why aren't you growing quicker? You just trust in the universe. You just trust in the creative process of Mother Nature. We are part of that. So even when it's something that doesn't feel natural, like a business doesn't feel natural because, I've got to physically do it. It doesn't grow from the earth. I have to create it. I am the earth. So it does, I'm connected. I am a different manifestation of the earth. We all are, right? We're no such thing as separation. I'm the moon, I am the sun. From a spiritual point of view, divine timing is here for everything and everyone. There's no exception. Whether that it feels like it's man-made or not. Man-made is just you, the earth, growing its own seed, planting its own seed, coming up with it in any way that it needs to manifest, right? When you become impatient, the resistance to that natural growth, that natural process can sometimes sabotage it, because you're pushing so hard for something to create, you're pushing so hard for something to come to life. What actually happens is you suppress it, and here's why. When you have your eyes on a result, right? So when your eyes are focused on a result, so I know that I'm going to do this and it's going to land me there, right? What happens is you don't see anything else around you. You're just looking right there. So look at the garden over my shoulder, right? Ignore the weeds coming through. Look at the garden. Look at the chair, right? Now that's all you can see is that chair. That's all you can see. So my result is that chair. All I can see is that chair, right? But if I were to do this, please ignore the state of the garden. If I was to do this, Now you can see the rest of the garden, but you couldn't see that because you were so tunneled vision on that chair. So what patience does is it stops you looking at that chair. It stops you looking at that chair, and it just keeps you here in this moment, open to any other possibility that that garden might produce. Sorry, I'm really embarrassed about the state of my garden. I tried to weed it the other day and it was so hot I came in and gave up. Anyway, so basically what I'm saying is that when you learn patience and you learn mindfulness and you stay in the moment, right, you take your focus off the end result, you open up to the opportunity of all the space around it that you didn't notice before because you were just focused on controlling the result you wanted, right? When you learn to be patient, what it does is it says you can't live in the future, you mustn't live in the future, you certainly can't live in the past. Learn from the past, obviously, have desires for the future, obviously, but you've got to live right now. Patience means mindfulness. Patience means be in the moment, be in the here and now. Because when you're in the here and now, the thing that you thought you wanted, right, the journey towards it, which, might still be the thing you wanted, right? It doesn't mean you're not going to get it. But the journey towards it changes. The journey towards it becomes something full of options, full of ideas, full of inspiration, full of changes, like, a garden where you've got weeds growing through, you've got flowers growing through. You don't question that. You don't question the creative process of the earth. You might plant that flower that you love, and it might take a really long time to bloom, and you're watering it and watering it and watering it. And then one day, what happens is you go out there and you see 3, that you didn't know were there. But because you had faith and you kept patient and you just kept going with it, and now you've got 3 flowers coming through the earth that are yours. And that is what patience does. That's the benefit of patience. It literally releases you and detaches you from the result. It releases and detaches you from the result, and it gives you the here and now. It gives you the ability to receive, being in that yin energy, that receptive feminine energy that we all have, male or female, right? It allows you to receive for the divine, for spirit, for God, whatever your higher, your higher creator is. It gives you the ability to receive, to see, to be inspired, to maybe go in a direction that you didn't think you were going to go into, right? To look around you and say, what else? From this moment right here, what else? Right? So when you get to that chair might be completely different by the time I get to it. But it might be better because I stayed in the moment and I stayed patient. And it is about the journey, right? The minute you let go of control issues and you let go of trying to navigate it the way you think, your brain, your ego brain thinks it should navigate, then opportunities start coming in. It is about complete detachment. It's not easy. I'm still not very good at it, I'll be honest. I'm still not great at it, but I'm learning, right? I'm learning to stay in the moment. And it's the proof is there for me in my life. So I have a business. For anyone that knows me, it's something I came up with about 6 years ago. I launched it at the end of 2019, but I came up with it, in 2015, I think. It took me that long to launch it because I became obsessed with a result that I wanted for it, right? And because I became so obsessed with that result, I literally got in my own way. I was so obsessed with it has to look like this. It has to have this product. It has to have this and it has to have that. I have to do it this way, right? I was so obsessed with getting to that chair that's there as I see it now, as I expect it to look when I get there, right? That I went on this pursuit of trying to build the chair. And it was wrong. I held myself back because of this perfectionist attitude I had. In the end, I was like, I got to a point where it was critical. It was like, you need to launch this right now. So I just did it. I just launched a business with what I had. And you know what? It took off. It took off. And now I have a chair, right? It doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like that chair. It didn't look like the chair I thought it was going to start out as, but it's a much better chair. It's great. Like it's the idea, it is still a chair, so it's still the concept I thought it was going to be, but it doesn't look and it doesn't feel and it doesn't operate how I expected it to be. And that is my proof that had I have just taken my hands off and been detached and gone with the flow, trust the natural cycles of life, of source, of Mother Earth, Father God, Mother Earth, if I had just done that through the process, without the resistance, without the need to control it, if I had just been patient to let it grow as it needed to grow, and I'd just navigated as I was directed, as the wind directed, I guess, then it would have been a much more comfortable process to grow this business. Had I have not strived for that control, strived to have that chair. It was never meant to be that chair. I should have been more patient, right? And so now I know this. It's still hard, but now I know this. So the benefits of being patient, just to recap, for me have been that I now understand the natural cycles. I now know that if I stay in the moment, then I leave room for opportunities to come in that I may not know if I'm continuously living in my head in the future where I expect to be, right? I know that no matter how scary it gets, not knowing what's about to happen and not having control of the future, I know that the divine have got my back. I have a spirit team behind me, right? I have spiritual soul family here, right? Incarnate, in the flesh, soul family, right? Who have got my back. So no matter how scary it gets, I know I can navigate anything, because whatever I come up against, I will deal with it in the moment, as we're supposed to do as creatures. That's what we're meant to do anyway. As humans, we're not supposed to control the future. That's ridiculous. It's not easy not to do it, but when you really think about it, it's how can you control something that hasn't happened yet? Or control your journey towards it? You can literally only control what you do in this very, very second. I really do recommend it. And I've said it before, but I think you should check out the book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Phenomenal book. And actually, if anybody hasn't read it, The Secret, which is, I've mentioned that as well before, it's a basic, everybody should read it book. It's a standard. It's where a lot of the spiritual awakenings came from for a lot of us, were prompted from that. And it's not massively spiritual. It's about the law of attraction. It's about energy, right? Spirituality, energy, physical, material, it's all the same thing. It's just perception that makes it look different. So what patience has taught me is to just take a step back, observe, be the observer of my own life, right? Don't try and control, try and navigate, but navigate based on your heart and your intuition, right? Not where you want or where you think you should be, because the brain only knows what it's learnt so far. It can't possibly know where it hasn't been yet. Even when you're psychic, people go to psychics because they want to know the future. Is this going to happen for me? You can't tell that. You can't tell it because of free will, because the brain, the ego, can overwrite what's natural. For example, I plant a seed, it grows. One day my brain goes, oh, I've had enough of this, I'm impatient, right? Ego. And I tread on it and I sabotage it, right? So the ego has the way of sabotaging what spirit wants, what your heart wants, what the universal laws dictate, right? That's why a lot of us are really out of alignment, because we let our egos destroy what's natural for us. I said it before, the human brain is a dangerous weapon. It really is. If it doesn't facilitate the heart, then it's literally can destroy you. It can destroy your life. But patience allows you to step back and just take your hands off and just have faith, blind faith. And that is a beautiful thing. It really is. So that is my thoughts, my wisdom on patience from my own experience. I hope this helps anyone who struggles with patience and struggles with not needing to control everything. There is a meme, which I think you can Google it, right? Just go to Google, because there'll be loads of these, right? And just type in ego versus soul. So ego vs soul, right? Or the soul. And look at the images and look at the memes that come up, and that gives you a really good example, I think. I don't know why that's just come to, I haven't seen one of them for ages, but maybe that was just given to me to give to you. But that is a really good way to kind of tell you to navigate what is ego and what is from your heart. So you can identify in yourself your own actions, right? So, okay, that's my ego speaking. Should I listen to it? No, it's not facilitating my heart, so we're going to leave it alone. You must make sure that you detach from your ego, because the ego mind is learned behavior that needs to control. It's an old narrative, inner child stuff, inner child wounding, past life wounding. The heart is the soul, the spirit, is the intuition, the inbuilt sat-nav, right? The brain should facilitate the heart. So make sure that you do that in your own life, and then be patient for the results to manifest. It's not easy, right? It's not easy, but it's worth it if you can do it. I hope this helps.